Many black men are looking for love in the Dominican Republic because the women are beautiful. Some of them are Afro-Latinas, if not the majority of them. And the culture of Latin women and black men seems to be a very good match. It's a very good ideology according to certain brothers. And also Dominican women, women from Latin America are known to be great wives, great cooks, and also great lovers. And of course, being beautiful and very feminine is something to be added into that mix. But something that we don't really know is there's a lot of pressure on a lot of ladies in the Latin American communities or in their diaspora to stay away from black men. Now, I have heard that some people are cool with it, but many are not. There is a brother by the name of Global CZ Official who was in the Dominican Republic, and he talked about his experience in this way.
Females, they have no desire of being with a black man, bro, like naturally. And that's not wrong. That's not wrong. Everybody don't gotta like black people, you feel me? So that's not wrong. If you live here, bro, that could be I don't live here, so I don't care. But when you live here and you grow up here, that sucks, bro. Being a black, dark-skinned girl, dark-skinned dude your whole life. That's how they act out here. They act like outcasts.
He isn't the first person that I've heard talk about it in this way. Brother E. Dean Cole is another brother who talked about the same thing also. That, a lot of black people just don't realize that Dominicans and other people in the Latino community would like to stay to themselves. But also, there's the flip side of it, right? You do see black men and Dominican women together. You do get this response from black women.
What's good, y'all? And we're going to talk about another thing that makes people uncomfortable. But y'all know me, I say what the fuck I want on my channel, right? We're going to talk about how a lot of black women get annoyed when they see black men date like Spanish and white girls. And I'm going to tell you why, because I used to be one of those girls who was annoyed. That shit irks my soul. And the reason why it used to bother me, not because they're dating like out of their race. It's because black men bash black women so bad. If you want to date a Spanish girl, date her. If you want to date a white girl, date her. But why you got to go on there and be like, I'm dating you because black women are this? That's fucked up. Everyone's allowed to love who they want to love, but y'all be bashing black women, and that's the problem that we have. I had to really identify why it used to piss me off so bad, right? And then it's like, because every time they date outside their race, they talk about black girls got daddy issues, they're insecure, they're angry, they're not submissive. You ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to do all that.
But now let me kind of get back to the point of this video. I recently interviewed a particular lady by the name of Fanny Martinez. She's a influencer here living in Uganda, and she grew up in the Bronx. And the name of the podcast that we did on Kinganda is called Dominican Women Are Moving to Africa Because of This. And she is a lady that looks, you can say white Dominican, if you want to classify her as that. But she is in the genre of Afro-Latinos, and she considers herself as a black woman. And she even uses the same verbiage that, we would see in the black community. King, queen, like, I'm just telling you, you would not believe that this person is not black by the way she talks. And very, very nice to be around. But she talked about her experience dating black men in America when she lived in Washington Heights. And one of the reasons that Afro-Latino men or Dominican men dislike black men is because of this. In South Bronx, how was it with the Dominican community and the African-American community? How did those communities interact?
Well, most of my family lived in Washington Heights, which is mostly all Dominican.
Yes.
And it's still very segregated.
Okay.
And depending on your age group.
Mm-hmm.
The younger crowd is more accepting. But of course, if you as a Dominican woman ever dated an African-American man, a Dominican man finds that to be like so offensive. Like they don't want to date you once they know that you've dated
Whoa,
an African-American man.
whoa.
Yeah,
let's break that down.
Well,
okay.
Because of the obvious. They just feel like, yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's the insecurity that a Hispanic man has with...
Even if he's a Dominican black person, it's the same thing.
Yes, somehow.
Now, that's very interesting, and you can tell I was shocked, along with my co-host Jonita, that a lot of Dominican men feel somehow inferior to black men in the bedroom, and that is one of the reasons why if a Dominican woman dates black men, they don't want them back into the community. That is what she's saying. And again, I've never lived in a Dominican community. I'm from California, so we don't have that many there. I know Dominicans are more or less in the East Coast, but that's what she's saying. And it could be true. But then again, I saw another video that was very interesting, building on to that point.
I said, as a Dominican woman, that I'm not going to date any more Dominican men. Okay? And I got up so many comments just like this one. And it's just an example of all the gaslighting. Just because not all Dominicans cheat, and there are really good Dominican men out there, does not mean that it's not embedded in the culture. I'm very much aware that it's not every Dominican man, and that's why I put it on there, right? And the fact that I can literally count all the good Dominican men that I know and all the good Dominican relationships that I know versus the countless ones that are bad and terrible and were disastrous, that information alone for me is enough to take that decision. And I own my decision. I know what's good for me and what I need to do for me, at least at the moment. Okay? So ladies, because so many of you guys agreed with me, when you make a decision for yourself and it's for your betterment, whether it's physical, mental, whatever the case may be, your reasoning, it doesn't even matter what your reasoning is. When you make this decision, don't let anybody gaslight you, because your reason is valid. But regardless, thank you for bringing this point up, because I think it's important that we talk about it, especially for all of those who are saying that it's not embedded in our culture. Bueno, mijo, stop bashing Dominican men. Well, first of all, you and I are both Dominican. We know exactly what it sounds like when a woman is bashing a man. And I didn't bash you guys. I didn't. So, not all are the same. I'm aware. I said it. Look how many men from other races are killing women. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the femicide rates. Also, article was released in 2022. A few months ago. Latin America, Honduras coming in number 1, and what do we have here? The Dominican Republic coming in at number 2. I'm aware that cheating happens in all races, all ethnicities, all cultures, all around the world. However, there are certain issues that are more prevalent in certain cultures than in others. It is not tens across the board. You don't see every single country with the same exact rate. We're number 2 in all of Latin America. And you want to say that it's not a cultural thing, that it's the same everywhere? So you can gaslight me all you want, but you can't gaslight numbers, boo. And this is not even including the Dominican men that like having sex with other Dominican men, but haven't officially accepted their own homosexuality, so they go and unalive the men that are actually living in their truth. Innocent, usually young men. Those lost lives are not included in this. So if you ignorantly want to continue to gaslight these numbers while simultaneously listening to Mo, which embellishes in that supposed culture that you say does not exist, we're going to continue to land in second place because we're never going to address the issues. And I'm not okay with second place in this category. Are you? Go to part 2.
Now, of course, this could be just one thing. And again, I'm not a Dominican man, and I know a lot of women do like Dominican men. I've heard, even black women like dating Dominican men. So, every race says this, right, about their men. So this is not uncommon. But it does show that maybe one of the other reasons that some of these women from the DR or in this community would prefer to date somebody else is because of other issues, and what probably some of the men think that it's because of another issue. So what am I trying to say and put together here in this particular video? That again, when Dominican women date black men, she's saying that Dominican men feel inferior because of a lack of penis size. However, if you listen to this particular Dominican woman, she's talking about other attributes, about things that she sees in her own men that she doesn't like for an example, cheating or being unfaithful. And again, this is something across the board that all women say. But the way that men take it in the community is that, well, we don't want to date you back because once you've been over there, he has more sexual prowess than me, so I don't feel like I can compete. Again, I don't know how true that is for the men, but that's what she said. She's Dominican, so she says that. But again, I believe also that what happens for most particular folks that date, in the culture, most of us, when we date other people from other places, we tend to be more or less on our best behavior. Let's just be real. When I'm living someplace and I'm dating with somebody that's not from the community, let's say for an example, I don't, but let's say if I did, I'd probably be more apt into treating that person a little bit better. Probably one of the reasons why is because I know I can't make the same mistakes in another community than in this one. And that's what tends to happen. But if that's the case, that Dominican men or men from the Latino community are threatened by black men because of the lack of, sex organs, that's very interesting. But what do you guys think? Do you think that's the reason that Dominican men don't want their women dating black men? Is that the reason, guys? I don't know. You let me know in the comment section. Subscribe and hit the bell. We're out.